I call to order the informal meeting of the plenary to hear a briefing on the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, UNRWA. I welcome Mr. Philip Lazzarini, Commissioner General of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, and thank members and thank members for participating in this meeting. Commissioner General Lazzarini, Commissioner General of the UN Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East, UNRWA. Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, I would like to express my appreciation to the Commissioner General for attending today. We convene at a time when the work of the agency is more crucial than ever before. But we also convene at a time when its ability to operate has never been more in doubt. In Gaza, more than 43,000 people have been killed, the majority of whom are women and children. More than 100,000 have been injured or maimed. About 1.9 million have been displaced, almost the entire population of Gaza. Civilian infrastructure lies in ruins. Against this horrible backdrop, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees in the Near East is providing urgent, life-saving support. It is fair to say that it is the backbone of the United Nations humanitarian operations in Gaza, as it provides protection, shelter, food, water, and medical care to millions of Palestinian people. Despite the humanitarian need, the agency's future in the occupied Palestinian territory is in peril. Already in March at this same hall, member state heads from the Commissioner General of UNRWA about the perilous situation facing the agency, having come under physical, political, and operational attack. As we will hear today, and as he has informed in writing, the agency may soon be facing the effective end of its mandate. The Israeli parliament decided to adopt two laws on 28 October 2024, which, if implemented, would prevent UNRWA from undertaking its essential work in Gaza and in the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem. Excellencies, as an agency directly established by the General Assembly, I have, in my capacity as President, a special responsibility to call on member states to respect the decisions of this Assembly. It was this Assembly that adopted Resolution 302 in 1949 by an overwhelming majority of member states and with no votes against. This resolution established the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees in the Near East to provide assistance to Palestine refugees. This is a mandate that has been consistently renewed ever since. In fact, most recently in December 2022, the mandate was once again extended by an overwhelming majority of the membership, this time until 30th June 2026. Excellencies, I must voice my deep alarm at the decision taken by the Israeli parliament. It constitutes an intolerable affront to the authority of this assembly, an affront to international law, and most importantly, an affront to the human dignity of innocent Palestinian civilians. There is currently no alternative to UNRWA which could adequately provide the required services. The collapse of operations in the occupied Palestinian territory as a result of these two laws would exacerbate an already catastrophic humanitarian situation. The cessation of UNRWA activities in the occupied Palestinian territory would mean that Palestinian refugees will not get desperately needed and life-saving assistance anymore. This is simply unacceptable. Excellencies, beyond the moral and institutional dilemma that an end of UNRWA would represent, it has further political implications. The dismantling of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees in the Near East will undermine the pursuit of comprehensive, just and lasting resolution of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, one based on international law, the United Nations Charter, and relevant United Nations resolutions. Such an attack on the agency is therefore also an attack on the foundations of a two-state solution. And let me be clear, the conflict in the Middle East will not be resolved by force or with further occupation. If it were so, the problem would have long been resolved. The Middle East conflict will only end when both Israelis and Palestinians are able to live side by side in peace, security, and human dignity in their own sovereign and independent states. We must work to make that happen. In fact, this same assembly has decided to convene during this session an international conference for the implementation of the United Nations resolutions pertaining to the question of Palestine and the two-state solution for the achievement of a just, lasting, and comprehensive peace in the Middle East. Excellencies, in light of the gravity of the situation, it is my duty as President of the General Assembly to stress again today, as I have done before, that international law, the Charter of the United Nations, and UN resolutions must be respected by all member states. I therefore urgently call on the government of Israel to comply with its international legal obligations and to allow UNRWA to continue its indispensable work in Gaza and the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem, as mandated by this assembly. Thank you.